What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Nick here, or Troopa, as you know me on the Discord. I thought I wanted to make, like, a quick-fire walkthrough, talk-through tutorial on the Goblin survival deck because it's pretty weird. This deck is out there, and I want to explain some of the interactions that make it a strong deck if it's able to assemble them. So the first one I want to talk about is Goblin Lackey. Putting Goblin Lackey in a Survival of the Fittest deck is pretty different. You're going to need a lot of goblins to make Goblin Lackey great. We're playing the full 4 of Siege Gang Commander, 3 Goons, and 3 War Chiefs. That's pretty much all of our good goblins, but we do have a Squee, 2 Pile Drivers, and 4 Fanatics to put into play. Now the thing about putting a Fanatic into play off of Goblin Lackey is it's just as good as putting a Goon into play off Lackey when it comes to making mana off Gaia's Cradle. So it's still another creature in play. It's going to give you another piece of green mana. If I open with something like Karplusan Forest and play Goblin Lackey, let's say I attack and put into play a Goblin Goon, and then with the Karplusan Forest, I'm going to play a Birds of Paradise. I'm then going to tap Cradle for 3 mana and play and activate a Survival of the Fittest. Now my opponent is behind in so many different ways. I have the board, a bunch of big creatures. I can easily assemble, like, hasted creatures with Anger and get a stream of them going with Squee. So the idea with this deck is to go all in the early turns of the game on a draw that is approvedly a winning draw. Like, we're going to look at some hands and we're going to ship a lot of them back because this deck does so well at 6 cards. This deck does so well at 5 cards. I mean, it's going to win more games at 5 cards than any other deck in the format because all it needs and all it's hoping for is to play a quick Survival or a quick Goblin Lackey. And in all those situations, you're usually pretty good. You know, we have Fanatic to clear the way, and we have some beefy boys that can help us win in, like, the mid to late game, too. You know, like, playing a Siege Gang Commander later on in the game is fine. I'm still not sure about some of the numbers, but something I really do like is 2 Mox Diamond. I think this card is an important one to consider when you're constructing any deck in Premodern, but the number, only having 2 of them, I like this a lot. I think this deck doesn't ever want to draw 2 of them in an opening hand. It's always going to be garbage for this deck. So I'm only going to play 2, and I'm going to play 25 lands, which I think is kind of normal for a Goblin deck. It kind of wants a lot, but we're playing full 4 of Gaia's Cradle and Wasteland. So those are lands that are not, you know, the best mana sources, let's say. Like, you can't always start with a Gaia's Cradle. You can't count on that. And Wasteland doesn't create any colored mana. So really, if you're minusing 8 lands from that, you're down to 17 before the port, and then you have, like, Mox Diamonds. So the deck can really come out of the gates super fast and be completely impossible to stop. Let's see if that's what we see in this first hand. Well, I'm not going to ship this hand back. I'm going to fetch for a mountain, play a Lackey, and hope to get a Goon in play. And then I'm going to play Survival. I'm going to play another Lackey if that one gets removed. Let's see another hand. This hand is very good. I'm not going to ship this one back. I'm going to play, like, Wasteland, Mox Diamond, Goblin Lackey, and hope to waste them turn 1 and extend the early game and just, like, cheat goblins into play. This is a weaker hand. So this is a very good example of one of the natural 7-card hands that this deck is going to have that it's going to throw back. You know, 3 lands and 4 cards, but it can't win the game. You have birds into Basking Root while a Goblin Warchief. Like, you need to draw into Survival or you've lost. So I'm going to ship this back. 3 cards deep it was, but that's not the point. Like, we can never keep that. This is an absolute slam dunk keep. Okay, I'm playing a turn 1 Survival, and I'm hoping for the best. You know, a lot of times that's enough, and that's quite good enough. Also, basic mountains are no big deal with this Survival deck. We can make very good use of the red mana. I'm keeping this. Turn 1 Survival and Root Walla Anger, this is all beautiful. This is a beautiful hand as well. You know, we can play turn 1 Lackey. Turn 2, Port U, Lackey and Pile Driver. Next turn, like, or it'll be Lackeyed in the War Chief, right? Next turn we play Pile Driver, Pile Driver. Maybe we can only play 1. I don't know how this really would have gone, but this is a beautiful hand. Sorry I'm sick, I'm a bit under the weather, but I wanted to run some sims on this video and show you just how powerful this deck can be. This is a mulligan. I'm gonna mulligan this deck, this hand too. Maybe. I'd think about it for a second, because Gaia's Cradle casts Goblin Goon very well, but we can't get Goblin Warchief into play off of this mana. I think I might keep this. Yeah, I wouldn't want to draw into the forest. You know, I'm hoping... I probably would have fetched for a mountain turn 1, so we couldn't have drawn into this, but... This is a turn 2 survival. I don't think I'm going to mulligan this hand. I like this hand, it's fine. Because survival is so powerful on its own. You know, like, people complain, like, oh, survival's way too good. Well, it's kind of slow. You know, you're giving your opponent all the time in the world to combo out on you. But if your combo out can be quicker than what they expect, which I think that this Goblin's kill is going to be. You know, if you have an active survival, you're going to kill them with Goblins pretty quickly. That's kind of why I've foregone playing Uktabi in the main deck and a bunch of Silver Bullet Answers, because I want to build an aggro deck first and then find, like, what it needs to hedge against. Like, does it really need the Uktabi? Or does it need, like, some naturalized main deck? Like, I don't know. But, that's the Decktech video. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Goblin Survival, or Fight Club, as I'm trying to call it. You don't talk about it because it's way too good. Any questions, I will get back to all of them. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any more opinions, like any help on building it, I'd be happy to take any advice. Like, look at this beautiful hand, okay? What are you going to do here? I'm just going to play City of Brass, Birds of Paradise, and pass the turn. Hope to draw into a land. Draw a card. It's a lackey. That's kind of interesting. I think I'm going to play, like, Survival Lackey next turn, and then draw a card. I can then search for a Siege Gang Commander, discarding a Birds, and put it into play off Lackey. Like, this deck has some pretty cool lines of play. I don't know why nobody's playing it yet, but if you want to be a fucking G and show up with the most expensive deck at the tournament, with the 4 Cradles and the 2 Diamonds and the 4 Survivals, you play this thing, okay? And I promise you will have fun. Have a great day, you guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.